All right, we're back, fight fans. This is the DAZN Boxing Show presented by Torres Brandy, mastery and tradition since 1928. I go by the name of Bach.
And I'm Barack, the boxing bully.
A lot of fights to cover this weekend. Obviously, TBE himself, Floyd Mayweather, is coming back. He's fighting a YouTuber, but it's kind of interesting. We'll get into that talk. But first, let's talk about what's going down in Cleveland. Montana Love coming back home. But before that, I want to get into this one. Raymond Ford, Barack, in my opinion, he's one of the youngest, one of the most skilled fighters from that young group, right in the early 20s. And he still fights with a chip on his shoulder. I like how busy he's been.
What chip on your shoulder are you talking about? Because he got that draw 5 fights ago? That's what you're talking about?
Yes, he still fights like he has something to prove because of that
23
draw.
years old. His whole career is going to be something to prove. Yes. And plus, think about it. Do you remember young guys being on TV this early? Hell no. So this is the new era. This is the new era. The DAZN came out of nowhere, putting these guys on TV. During the pandemic, ESPN had guys on TV. All of these guys got something to prove. What it is skills pay the bills. He's a very skillful fighter. He's hard to hit.
And I like the fact that draw, look, when you think about it, a lot of fighters that we've known to be great right now, early in their career, they had little setbacks. They had hurdles that they had to jump. Even the great Canelo Alvarez had a draw early on in his career. So sometimes a fighter needs that to wake up. They get a little too comfortable, a little too overconfident, and they realize that, hey, I got to get ready for everybody that they put in front of me. So that's why I think Raymond still fights with that chip on his shoulder, and he's going to do well. I see him becoming a world champion. Let's talk about the new member to the team, to the Matchroom team, that is. Former Mayweather promotion stable man, Richardson Hitchins from Brooklyn. They call him Africa. The kid is skilled, very skilled. We just haven't seen him enough. He complained about it on our show. He said, look, I just want to be busy. I want to show the world that I'm just as skilled as Shakur, Devin, Tank, and all those other guys that are around my age. I'm not getting the light I deserve. It looks like he's going to get it on DAZN.
Sometimes that's what, promotional issues do to you. When you're with a team who's not really keeping you busy. I believe he made the right decision by going to Matchroom, because Matchroom keeps their young guys very, very busy. But the thing is, he's going to be matched up. He's 14-0. It's about that time. He's fighting a guy, I believe he's 25-1. It's about that time for him to show. Now, because, we've been working in boxing for years, we're a little more privy to things than fans. So we know by seeing in the gym, by seeing these sparring sessions, we know how good he really is. It's time for Matchroom to reintroduce Richardson Hitchins.
Yeah, Barack, though, but I want to touch on one more thing regarding him. A lot of times when you see your peers, right, when you see guys that you came up with in the amateurs, winning world titles, making tons of money, right, a lot of money. So you kind of feel pressured to kind of move fast, to get on a fast track. And because you haven't been busy, that could be a mistake in some cases where you're not ready for the big names yet, not because you're not skilled, because you haven't been busy as those other guys, right? Teofimo Lopez, Shakur, those guys won world titles early in their career. So because he hasn't been busy, he might have to get on a back burner a little bit, meaning he needs 2 or 3 fights before he gets in there with a big dog, instead of trying to rush because he feels like he has lost time. He lost a lot of time.
That's a good point. And not just that, I think Matchroom is going to want to build his name anyway, because just because we know him and the avid boxing fan knows him, you can't just throw him out there and expect people to just gravitate to want to watch him. He's going to be he's going to be the opening fight, or he's going to be the co-main event at sometimes, and then we're going to get to that time where he could be the main event, but it's going to take some fights. It's going to take some fights for the casual fans to start seeing him.
Look, I know you're not a betting man, Barack, but is it safe to say that maybe in the next 2 years or so, we'll see Richardson fighting for a world title?
I believe so. I say 2 years, maybe even less than that. Maybe even less than that, because 140 is kind of wide open, and we got those 3 belts that just dispersed from Josh Taylor. So you might even see him a little bit quicker than that. You never know. Maybe a year and a half.
All right, and a homecoming for the man Montana Love, fighting Steve Spark. Now, Montana is one of the flashiest fighters outside the ring, but also in the ring. Slick southpaw, skilled. I know there's pressure, added pressure fighting at home. When you talk about ticket requests, you talk about pleasing your home crowd, also worrying about how the ticket sales are going. He told us that he's not worried about that. He's focused on the fight, but subconsciously there has to be some pressure added. Now Spark we know he's coming to win. Is he just not skilled enough for a guy like Montana?
Maybe not, maybe not. I mean, he doesn't look that way. He looks kind of like one-dimensional. I think that the only thing that if I had to just give my opinion on his nerves, and I'm talking about Love's nerves, I would say the only thing that would probably worry him is ticket sales. But since it's his hometown, the ticket sales may be good, because fighters always want to do good. Fighters always want to prove that they're a draw to their
especially in their hometown.
Right. Now, when it comes to fighting in his hometown, he's not that kind of guy to get nervous. I think he's going to be more flashy than ever. His dog is going to come in with a cape or something. I don't know. It's going to be something crazy, and he's going to perform to the highest level.
I think, against Baranchak, the way he was able to stop him, the way he was able to show power, he kind of put a little pressure on himself. Now, people are expecting this guy that's known to be a slick fighter to start hurting guys and putting guys out. Now, that's not a bad reputation to have, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's added pressure. People are expecting that. And sometimes that can get you out of your game plan when you go in there trying to please the fans, the crowd, and also that narrative of that you can punch now, and you kind of want to uphold that and might make a defensive mistake in the fight. And that's what sometimes I don't like, when people start putting pressure on guys and expecting them to knock people out. You're a slick boxer, defense, offense, counter punching. Do that, win the rounds until you hurt a guy. You take advantage of, if the knockout comes, you obviously take advantage of it, but don't get off of your game plan to please the fans.
Yeah, I think styles make fights. So when you're talking about Spark, I'm glad you brought up Baranchak, because Spark reminds me of Baranchak, maybe not as skillful, but he reminds me of him, that particular style. And I think that particular style is going to allow him to get hit a lot. And yeah, you're going to see Love moving, and he's going to be pivoting. And a lot of times he's going to be in the pocket because he's kind of slick inside, but he's going to be able to put hands on Spark, and that may get him closer to that knockout. And I don't think there's going to be pressure on him, because I think he likes fighting fighters like that just come straight forward.
Yeah, now I agree with that. I mean, I think that his last performance wasn't his best. He received some criticism. He's the type of guy to use that as motivation. So I think he's going to double back. We're going to see another Baranchak type of performance. I'm predicting a stoppage, Barack.
You know what? Oh, there you go with your stoppages. But you know what I say? I say, like, a good performance can erase your bad performance.
Absolutely.
And if he can get a stoppage, we'll forget about that. There's nothing more forgiving than seeing a fighter come back and get a stoppage. So if he does get that stoppage, we'll forget about that tough fight that he had.
Barack, your favorite fighter of all time, TBE. That's right, TB. Oh yeah, no, Deji. Hopefully Deji pulls the upset off. I don't see it happening.
What? If he does that, I'm fighting Deji next. Like, no, you better not put hands on Floyd.
Look, obviously, that's not going to happen. Look, this is more of a showcase. You got TBE. One of the greatest of all time. Some people feel like he is the most skilled fighter of all time. That's Floyd Mayweather fighting KSI's brother, JJ's brother. Somebody who came back, recently to DAZN X Series and showed out. Look, he took boxing serious, but I mean, it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to share the ring with somebody like Floyd Mayweather.
Let me tell you how the phone call went. This is Floyd. He answered the phone. Hello? Yeah. I'm available for what though? Fight who? Who? What? Who? How much? Okay. That's exactly how it went. That's all this is a money grab for Floyd. But I like the respectful Floyd that we're seeing. I like that he's bigging up these fighters and he's inspiring these fighters. I guess there's an audience out there for these exhibitions.
Is it
an audience out there?
Are you a member of that audience?
No, I'm not. I know that Deji, I know that these YouTubers, I'm telling you, the last YouTube fight, the last time they fought, it was actually before the DAZN Series X. Everybody, all the young kids in my church, they was like, yo, did you see the fight or whatever? And then when the DAZN Series came out, I realized that there is a big crowd for the YouTubers. You know what I mean?
It's safe to say that a lot of people are going to be tuned in on Sunday.
I don't know about that. I'm just saying they got a crowd.
Well, Barack, I do feel that a lot of people are going to be tuned in. And by the way, it's on the DAZN pay-per-view, so make sure you purchase that. I'll be tuned in on Sunday. All right,
listen, everything Floyd does, I tune in. But listen, we got Floyd on DAZN. Did you ever think we was going to get Floyd on DAZN?
I always knew it. I always knew
You're
it.
lying.
All right, folks, man, thanks for tuning in. This is brought to you by Torres Brandy, Mastery and Tradition since 1928. Peace and love. Stay safe.